The story is about Lakhvir Kaur Singh, who poisoned her ex-boyfriend, Lakhvinder Cheema, and his girlfriend, Gurjeet Choongh, because she was jealous and wanted revenge. Cheema died because of the poison, but Choongh survived, although she suffered a lot. Singh planned the poisoning carefully, and she was sent to jail for life. This story shows how harmful jealousy and revenge can be, and why it's important to be kind and fair to others. Welcome back to Crime in Prison. Today we're looking at the story of Jyoti Singh was very pathetic. Her brave fight and tragic death became a symbol of how women stand up against sexual violence everywhere. By the way, Crime in Prison is a collection of narratives that delve into the world of crime, punishment, and redemption. From tales of daring crimes to accounts of life behind bars, these stories provide a glimpse into the darker aspects of human behavior and the consequences that follow. The best way to support me is by subscribing to the channel, so if you want to see more stories like this, please hit subscribe. Now let's get right down to it. On January 27, 2009, Lakhvinder Cheema was tragically murdered in Southall, West London, by his ex-girlfriend, Lakhvir Kaur Singh. She poisoned his curry with a poison made from the Aconitum ferox plant. This plant contains a highly toxic alkaloid called pseudoconitine. Singh was nicknamed the Curry Killer because she added the poison to his food. This case gained attention because of the cruel way Cheema was killed and the planning involved. Singh even went to India to get beak poison, made from Aconitum ferox. Singh was sentenced to life in prison, with a minimum of 23 years. Singh had been involved in a 16-year relationship with Lakhvinder Cheema after her first marriage ended. During this time, she had 3 children, and her husband Ankur was undergoing treatment for cancer. Singh's husband was indeed receiving cancer treatment abroad. She desired to divorce him to be with her boyfriend, but Cheema persuaded her against it. This likely occurred because Cheema had no intention of marrying her. The mother of 3 threatened Cheema she would set his residence ablaze if he was ever found sleeping with another woman. That was the level of her obsession with him. After 16 years of dating, he decided to have his own family and have children. Cheema decided to end the affair with Singh in order to become engaged to a younger woman. Even after Cheema's decision to end the affair and marry his fiancée, Singh persisted in sending him affectionate text messages and attempted to dissuade him from marrying Choongh, whom he had only known for a short time. However, Cheema remained resolute in his decision to marry his fiancée. She could not understand why he was leaving her after 16 years' affair for a woman he just met. In spite of the threat, Cheema went on with the engagement to his fiancée. After Cheema's engagement was finalized in November 2008, Singh traveled to India and returned 3 weeks later. In December, approximately a week following her return, Cheema was hospitalized. Singh accompanied Cheema to the hospital and stayed by his side each day due to her concern for his well-being. Despite their past relationship and Cheema's decision to end it and move forward with his engagement, Singh still cared deeply for him and wanted to ensure he received proper care and support during his hospitalization. Additionally, her presence by his side could have been an attempt to maintain a connection with him or to express her remorse for any past wrongdoings. During Cheema's hospitalization, Choongh, Cheema's fiancée, learned about the previous romantic involvement between Singh and Cheema. Upon discovering this information, Choongh likely felt shocked and betrayed, as she had not been aware of the extent of their past relationship. Feeling threatened by Singh's continued presence and possibly fearing for the stability of her own relationship with Cheema, Choongh decided to confront Singh and warn her to stay away. The interaction between Choongh and Singh may have been tense and confrontational, with Choongh expressing her discomfort and displeasure at Singh's continued involvement in Cheema's life. She may have emphasized the importance of boundaries and urged Singh to respect Cheema's commitment to their relationship. Choong's warning to Singh may have been firm and direct, conveying her desire for Singh to cease any further contact with Cheema. This confrontation could have added strain to an already complicated situation, potentially leading to heightened emotions and tensions between the parties involved. After a week of hospitalization, Cheema was discharged, but doctors were perplexed by the mysterious cause of his illness. Despite conducting various tests and examinations, medical professionals were unable to pinpoint the exact reason behind Cheema's sudden illness and subsequent hospitalization. The inability to diagnose Cheema's condition likely left both him and his loved ones feeling unsettled and concerned. Without a clear understanding of the underlying cause, there may have been lingering anxiety about the possibility of a recurrence or further health complications. Cheema and those close to him may have been left with unanswered questions and a sense of frustration at the lack of definitive answers from the medical experts. The uncertainty surrounding his health could have contributed to a heightened sense of unease and heightened vigilance regarding his well-being in the days and weeks following his discharge from the hospital. Cheema suspected poisoning after consuming a meal prepared by Singh. As Christmas approached, tensions escalated between Singh and Choongh when Singh learned of Cheema's unwavering determination to proceed with his marriage to the younger woman. Singh's jealousy and resentment likely intensified upon realizing that Cheema was fully committed to his new relationship, leaving Singh feeling rejected and sidelined. Choongh, aware of Singh's lingering feelings for Cheema and sensing her interference in their relationship, confronted Singh about her continued involvement in their lives. Choongh expressed her frustration and warned Singh to stop interfering, urging her to let go of the past and move on. However, Singh's emotions ran deep, and she confessed to Choongh that she could not simply forget the strong feelings she harbored for Cheema. This exchange likely heightened the tension between Singh and Choongh, as Choongh confronted Singh's unresolved emotions and urged her to accept the reality of Cheema's decision to move on. Despite Choongh's plea for Singh to relinquish her grip on the past, Singh's inability to let go of her feelings for Cheema foreshadowed further turmoil in the unfolding saga of their intertwined relationships. As the wedding date drew near, emotional confrontations ensued, marked by tearful showdowns between Singh and those around her. In these tense moments, Singh was repeatedly urged to let go of her feelings for Cheema, referred to affectionately as Lucky. Friends and loved ones, likely including Cheema's fiancé Choongh, pleaded with Singh to move on and forget about Cheema. The emotional intensity of these encounters would have been palpable, with raw emotions and unresolved tensions coming to the forefront. Singh may have struggled to reconcile her lingering affection for Cheema with the reality of his impending marriage to another woman. Despite the heartfelt pleas and emotional pressure from those around her, Singh may have found it difficult to simply erase her feelings for Cheema. The tearful confrontations likely underscored the complexity and depth of Singh's emotions, as well as the challenges she faced in accepting the inevitable outcome of Cheema's decision to marry someone else. A month later, after returning from a trip to India, Singh brought back the aconite poison that would later be used in the murder. However, rather than immediately putting her plan into action, Singh waited for the opportune moment to carry out her deadly scheme. On the morning of January 27, 2009, Singh arrived at the couple's home with the intention of executing her plan. She likely anticipated that Cheema and his fiancée would be at work during this time, providing her with a window of opportunity to carry out her sinister plot without interruption. Upon entering the home, Singh wasted no time in executing her plan. She made her way to the refrigerator, where she found a leftover curry soup. With cold determination, she proceeded to lace the soup with the deadly poison, knowing that Cheema and his fiancée had plans to consume the dish later that evening. In this calculated and chilling act, Singh betrayed the trust of those she once cared about, transforming a seemingly harmless meal into a lethal weapon. Her actions would soon have devastating consequences, forever altering the lives of everyone involved and leaving a dark stain on the lives of her victims. That evening, Cheema and his fiancée were deeply involved in discussing their upcoming wedding plans as they sat down to dinner. Their conversation likely centered on important details like where the wedding would take place, who would be invited, and other preparations for their big day. However, they had no idea that the meal they were about to enjoy was laced with a deadly poison. As they talked and laughed, completely unaware of the danger, they ate their meal with anticipation and excitement for the future. But unbeknownst to them, Singh's malicious actions had turned their happy evening into a tragic event. Despite their happiness, they were unknowingly facing a life-threatening situation, and with each bite, they were sealing their fate. After enjoying dinner, Cheema decided to have second helpings of the curry, completely unaware that it had been laced with poison. However, shortly after finishing his meal, he began to experience alarming symptoms. He started vomiting and his face became numb, followed by a rapid deterioration of his condition. Soon, he lost vision and the use of his limbs, indicating a severe and rapidly progressing medical emergency. As Choongh recounted the events of that fateful evening, she described how both she and Cheema began experiencing alarming symptoms after consuming their dinner. Cheema, having eaten more and even had second helpings, was the first to notice something was wrong. He expressed feeling numbness in his face and a lack of sensation when touching it. As their condition rapidly deteriorated, Cheema's symptoms worsened. He described a sensation of darkness closing in, an inability to see, and a loss of feeling in his body. Choongh, too, began to feel similar symptoms, experiencing dizziness, abdominal pain, and a sensation of everything turning dark. Realizing the severity of their situation, Cheema made a desperate call for help, contacting emergency services and informing the operator that someone had poisoned their food. In a moment of clarity amidst the chaos, he identified Singh as the culprit, revealing that she was his ex-girlfriend. This harrowing account paints a vivid picture of the agony and terror experienced by Cheema and Choongh as they grappled with the effects of the poison. Their words serve as a haunting reminder of the brutality of Singh's actions and the devastating impact they had on the victims' lives. Despite the gravity of the situation, Cheema's sister managed to rush the couple to the hospital. However, tragically, Cheema succumbed to the effects of the poison within an hour of their arrival, unable to withstand its deadly potency. Choongh, too, began to exhibit similar symptoms after consuming the poison meal. However, she was fortunate to have received medical attention promptly. She was placed into a medically induced coma to stabilize her condition, and after a harrowing ordeal, she eventually made a full recovery. This tragic incident serves as a stark reminder of the devastating consequences of Singh's malicious actions and the irreversible loss suffered by Cheema's loved ones. During a distressing 999 call, Cheema managed to convey the dire situation he was facing, stating that he had been poisoned by his ex-girlfriend. In his moment of crisis, he bravely identified Singh as the perpetrator of the heinous act that had left him fighting for his life. This crucial information provided to emergency services would have triggered an urgent response, prompting medical professionals to take immediate action to provide Cheema with the necessary medical assistance and attempt to counteract the effects of the poison. Despite his rapidly deteriorating condition, Cheema's courageous act of naming his assailant played a vital role in alerting authorities to the severity of the situation and initiating the appropriate emergency response measures. The case gained a lot of attention because of how cruel Cheema's killing was and because the poison used, aconitine, is very rare in murders. Aconitine makes people very sick, causing them to vomit a lot, become paralyzed, and eventually have their organs stop working. Despite feeling so sick, victims stay awake and aware throughout, feeling intense pain as their condition gets worse. The poison itself is quite old-fashioned and not commonly used in modern times. It comes from a plant called aconitum, which was notorious for being a deadly poison in ancient times. Cases where people are prosecuted for using aconitine in murders are extremely rare. The last time someone was prosecuted for this was way back in 1882, in the case of George Henry Lamson. The historical background made the legal process more interesting, as officials had to deal with the difficulties of prosecuting a crime that involved a rare and deadly poison. Because of this, the use of aconitine in Cheema's murder drew the attention of many people. The trial happened at the Old Bailey in 2010. During the trial, Singh tried to blame her brother-in-law Verinda for the crime. But a person who lived in the house provided important evidence. They said they saw Singh taking the curry out of the fridge on the day of the murder. This showed that Singh was directly involved in the poisoning. Furthermore, incriminating evidence emerged during the trial when authorities discovered a plastic bag containing brown powder in Singh's coat. Initially, Singh claimed that the powder was medication for a rash on her neck. However, forensic analysis revealed that the substance was Indian aconite, which matched the poison found in the tainted curry. This damning evidence strongly implicated Singh in the crime, undermining her attempts to deflect responsibility onto her brother-in-law. On February 10, 2010, Singh was found guilty of the murder of Lakhvinder Cheema and of causing grievous bodily harm to his new fiancée, who survived the attack. However, Singh was acquitted of the charge of attempted murder. Additionally, she was acquitted of the accusation of administering poison to her ex-lover's food on a previous occasion. Singh showed no emotion as she was found guilty of murder. The prosecution, represented by the Crown, had requested a life imprisonment sentence for Singh, with a minimum term of 30 years. This request was based on the severity of the case, the extensive premeditation involved, and the fact that there were 2 victims affected by Singh's actions. However, Singh ultimately received a life sentence with a minimum term of 23 years. Despite the slightly shorter minimum term than what the prosecution had sought, the sentencing reflected the serious nature of the crime and the significant impact it had on the victims and their loved ones. The moral of the story is about how dangerous jealousy and revenge can be. It shows that when people let these negative feelings control them, it can lead to terrible consequences. Singh's jealousy and desire for revenge ended in tragedy, causing Cheema's death and hurting Choongh badly. The story teaches us the importance of dealing with our emotions in healthy ways. Instead of letting jealousy and resentment build up inside, it's crucial to find constructive ways to manage them. It also reminds us to treat others with empathy, kindness, and respect in our relationships. Furthermore, the story highlights the importance of seeking help and support when we're struggling with intense emotions. It's better to reach out for assistance than to act out in harmful ways that can hurt ourselves and others. It is important to also point out that in relationships, honesty and integrity are vital. If you know you don't see a future with someone or have different goals, talk openly. Don't lead them on for years and then leave for someone else. Be clear about your intentions and respect their feelings. If things change, address it early to avoid more pain later. If you develop feelings for someone else while committed, be honest. Cheating hurts everyone. Treat others with honesty, respect, and kindness. Open communication, trust, and understanding are key to healthy relationships. During her sentencing at the Old Bailey, Judge Paul Worsley spoke directly to Singh, delivering a serious message. He said her actions weren't just those of someone upset about a breakup. Instead, he said she planned her revenge carefully. The judge's words showed how serious Singh's actions were and how much harm they caused. He said she sought revenge in a cold and calculated way, meaning she planned it out and didn't show any regret. The judge wanted Singh to understand the seriousness of what she did and how it affected the victims and their families. His words were a reminder that Singh was responsible for her actions and the harm they caused. Today, as Singh received her sentence, she appeared to be on the verge of tears. As she was led away, she glanced up at the public gallery. She learned that she would be almost 70 years old before she could be considered for release. One thing is certain, though, Singh's actions ultimately succeeded in preventing her former lover from marrying someone else, but they also resulted in her receiving a life sentence behind bars. The poison used, aconite, derived from the root of the aconite plant, was known as the queen of poisons, causing excruciating death by heart failure. Its use had not been seen in over a century, highlighting the severity of Singh's actions and the tragic consequences they wrought. Ms. Choongh shared how deeply hurt and angry she was at Singh for what she did. She said she could never forgive Singh for taking away the man she was going to marry. In her statement to the court, Ms. Choongh talked about how much pain and suffering she went through because of the poisoning. She said that Singh should get the toughest punishment possible to stop others from doing similar things. Ms. Choongh described the ongoing stress she feels and how hard it was for her to be in the hospital alone without her family. Even though they were in the same court, Ms. Choongh avoided looking at Singh, and they only exchanged cold stares when the other wasn't looking. She talked about how their dreams of getting married were shattered because of what happened. The poisoning not only caused Cheema's death but also nearly killed Ms. Choongh and left her with lasting pain, both physically and emotionally. Mr. Cheema's sister, Narinder Singh, also shared her profound grief and loss in a statement. She described Mr. Cheema as being like a son to her and a guiding light in her life. She expressed the pain her family feels, emphasizing their desire for justice for Mr. Cheema. Despite knowing that they can't bring him back, they seek closure and accountability for what happened to him. Mrs. Singh conveyed the profound emptiness that Mr. Cheema's absence has left in their lives. She spoke of his kindness and generosity, highlighting how he was always there to help others in need. Reflecting on Mr. Cheema's final moments, Mrs. Singh lamented not being able to be with him and offer comfort. She described the overwhelming sorrow of having lost her beloved brother and now being left to mourn his loss for the rest of her life. She concluded by expressing the deep sense of loss and emptiness felt by her family, unable to adequately convey the depth of their pain and the void left by Mr. Cheema's absence. I will conclude by reading this father's advice to his son. My son, pay attention to my wisdom. Listen carefully to my wise counsel. Then you will show discernment, and your lips will express what you've learned. For the lips of an immoral woman are as sweet as honey, and her mouth is smoother than oil. But in the end she is as bitter as poison, as dangerous as a double-edged sword. Her feet go down to death. Her steps lead straight to the grave, for she cares nothing about the path to life. She staggers down a crooked trail and doesn't realize it. So now, my sons, listen to me. Never stray from what I am about to say. Stay away from her. Don't go near the door of her house. If you do, you will lose your honor, and will lose to merciless people all you have achieved. Strangers will consume your wealth, and someone else will enjoy the fruit of your labor. In the end, you will groan in anguish when disease consumes your body. Thank you for staying with me till the end of the story. What are your thoughts on this entire case? Please share your opinions in the comments section below. If you appreciated our efforts, don't forget to like this video and share it with others. If you haven't already subscribed to our channel, please do so now and stay connected with crime and prison. By subscribing, you'll receive notifications for more compelling stories like this one. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video with another gripping true crime story.